because I'm really not aware of what's around me. I'm now blocking in the white background to the clock face, which is good. It starts to feel like it's progressing again. I also feel so free when this clock is done.
With the clock face finally out of the way, I move on to the painting's pièce de résistance, my homage to an iconic silent movie hero.
Now I've outlined in white chalk the body of Harold Lloyd hanging on the clock. The idea of this drawing is that we'll also be able to have a real person interacting with him, maybe trying to reach down to Harold Lloyd. It works because Harold Lloyd over there is very close to the camera, and so he doesn't have to be drawn very big to see him big. Whereas I am a long way from the camera, and even though I am big, I look small. So in that way, the little man and the big man look the same size. And that's what these perspective tricks are all about. These shoulders and arms on the outer side will be quite light blue because all the light's hitting them from out here. And then on the inside along here, I'll do them a darker blue, where there's not so much light hitting them. That way, they will look like three-dimensional arms. I have to be careful now about rubbing it too much with my fingers, because that finger, that thumb, and that middle finger have all split. They've all got little cuts in them from too much rubbing. Still a bit tall. Have to look in there. Tiptoes. Hands are another of those things that have to be done exactly right and that can easily be done wrong. So I'm ready to spend quite a bit of time on this. I don't expect it to be spot on first time. Hands are difficult because they're a part of the human body that we all recognise very easily, and yet they're actually very complicated. There's a focal point now, there's a central person that you can relate to, and the whole thing takes on a totally different meaning, and I'm getting quite excited about finishing it. I've certainly attracted a bit of life here on Peter's Hill. There's a nice circle of people all looking at my work, which is always nice.
In the crowd, I notice a couple of guys who look like every street artist's enemy number one.
Are you working for the council?
Yeah, we have to remove graffiti and, you know, anything offensive, anything like this if it's not got permission.
Is there a lot of graffiti in London?
Loads of it.
And so if someone hadn't got permission to draw, you'd just come and wash it off, would you?
Jet it away.
And have you ever got rid of any famous graffiti?
Yeah, a couple of Banksys.
Didn't you feel bad that you were destroying an artwork?
Stuff like that, fantastic. Really like it myself, but that's my work. I've got to do it.
And was this when Banksy was already a famous artist?
Oh, yeah. There was some woman going, but it's worth thousands.
What happens now it's raining?
Well, it's not raining. Don't say that. You shouldn't say that. It does your job for you if it rains.
Yeah, it's not the best time of year to be doing it.
Luckily, I've got permission for this one, so it won't concern you.
We just came to have a look. We've not been told to get rid of it.
You haven't been sent?
Nah.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
See you later, mate. Bye-bye.
People like this have forced a huge number of artists to go underground. Up there with Banksy, in London's guerrilla art scene, is D-Face, who also keeps his identity hidden. Guerrilla art incorporates hijacking major branding for publicity and identity, which D-Face famously did with his interpretation of the £10 banknote. He works from a studio and gallery in East London.
It's really exciting to see the work out there in the streets and public domain. You can never beat that confrontational element of something that shouldn't be there, but it's got there. How have they got it there? How have they put it there? I think that works. It always inspires me when I see that happening. I think the thing about street art is it's not defined by one thing. It can be anything. I mean, the point is you can put it in the streets. It can be sculpture, it can be illustration, it can be graphic, it can be painterly. It doesn't have to be one thing or the other, it's whatever the artist chooses for it to be. And the great thing about the streets that the gallery can never do is that it's free to anybody to do. You know, there's no curator involved, there's no one saying this is right, this is wrong. You know, it can be, anybody can go out and do it, and I think more people should do it. Central working area, 2 things I'm working on at the moment. This is the fuselage of a missile, and it's going to slip over a bollard. And then another thing I'm working on here is I've been buying these like dummy CCTV cameras and them up, basically. This is still being worked on. And then I'll go and install that in a spot. There's a doorway that's a couple of roads away that's like tagged and destroyed, and I think it'll look really nice in its environment. It's like about observation, about how we're always observed, something like 40 times on film, an average journey across London. Essentially, I want things to run as long as I can get them to. I want them to last in the streets for more people to see them. But it's part of the course, you know, this is going to last 5 minutes because, you know, you could snap that off really easily. You could just take the whole thing off, even though it would be glued on place. But that's not the point of it. To me, it's a creative release. It's an outlet.
To support artists who have been forced off the streets, Deface has set up a studio space where they can work, as well as a gallery focusing entirely on street art.
This is what it's really about. It's about finding the right artists and giving an elevation and trying to allow them to live as artists and allow the public to come and see it into an environment they can understand. We've got artists like Mysterious Owl doing the incredible Sulk, Haroon Hayward, who does these really intricate acrylic spray paint and gouache pieces. This is by an artist called Connor Harrington, who's, as you can see, a true master of his oil paints. I want the art form to survive as an art form for the long term and not just for the short term.
All ready for the 3rd and last day on this. Usually the last day is the best day because everything's coming to completion. My only worry, as has been the case all through this project, is the weather. We've got huge clouds and there's again a dangerous forecast. What I'm doing now is marking in the Roman numerals around the dial. This isn't all that difficult because I simply have to centre them on the centre point of the dial here.
So how come when I crop it through a camera that it shows a more like strong perspective as opposed to just looking at it right now?
For one thing, you're looking at it through one eye and not two. Secondly, it's quite a wide lens so that it's making the perspective more extreme, so that if I cheat the perspective by drawing it distorted, it's a bigger cheat because the perspective is more extreme. What do you think of it?
It looks like you're actually looking from above down on the clock tower.
Could we have a word?
Hello.
I'd just like to have a chat, if you're chattable.
I am very chattable.
What are you doing?
I am, well, I have this art gallery over here. They have all my paintings inside it. What are you doing? You have a picture of Harold Lloyd kind of thingy.
Exactement, yeah.
It's very good. When you look through there, it looks really, really good.
Yeah, but when there's no camera, it's not as good.
No.
You need to have the camera there to look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
Or look on the internet.
Yeah, or look at a photo of it. Yeah, yeah.
What did you do when it rained?
Cover it up.
Quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. Getting towards midday. Still time is pressing because there's all that landscape to do behind and the decoration on the building. Got another rain scout. If it's just a light sprinkling like this, it doesn't do too much damage. But once those spots start to join up and it becomes all generally wet, then it can really spoil a picture. But it is scary, though, when you've done 2 days' work and this starts to happen.
But a light sprinkle turns into a full-blown rain shower. I've got to get the drawing covered as quickly as possible.
Anybody help? Thank you. Thanks.
With the rain pouring down, I'm worried that the completion of Big Ben hangs in the balance.
It's a bit of a pisser when this happens.
Thankfully, it's just a passing shower. But with the never-ending prospect of rain, I've got to keep moving.
I'm going to go on to doing the background landscape, the Thames, the bridge over the Thames. This is just a very vague roof on this very vague building, which is very vaguely behind Big Ben. And now I'm putting in some very vague pedestrians standing on the bridge, walking along. Even though they're vague, it's still important that they appear vertical, so I'm using the string to send them all to the vanishing point underneath the camera. I'm just doing them all in grey so that you get an idea of them in silhouette. I'm not going into any colour, I'm not going into any detail. The weather's improved, so I think we're all set to have a nice result early this evening. What do you think of that, mate?
I think that's amazing, man. Splendid.
Did you have a look through there?
Yeah, look, that looks proper real through there. It looks like it's dropping down.
Are you a graffiti man?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, I do graffiti.
I've never done any of that, but it's interesting.
Yeah, that's much better.
Thanks.
I'm scared of heights, man, and that's making me feel dodgy looking at through there.
I'm just putting in now some of the ornamentation around this clock face. It starts to have a feeling of being the final touches. And then the miracle will have occurred that this drawing is finished.
A crowd starts to gather, and I can finally reveal my finished 3D drawing.
We are then on Peter's Hill. It's the end of 3 days' work, and the drawing is ready to show. It's going to be revealed here on this monitor. 1, 2, 3, yo! There we are, in 3 dimensions. Thank you.
Oh, it's so phenomenal.
And I think it's wicked.
You think it's wicked?
Yeah, very good.
It's only for fun. There's nothing evil about it.
And now it's awesome. I was
But
wondering.
you said it was awesome yesterday.
Of course, it's just getting more and more awesome.
That's
gradually.
the problem when you use a word like
Yes.
awesome. You
True.
don't have any extra words to go any
True.
further. It's been 3 long days of difficult technical anamorphic drawing. But finally, the miracle has happened. I've finished this drawing, which I never thought I would. The result, with Harold Lloyd hanging on that clock arm, is exactly what I was looking for. It really seems like he's hanging in space. So, London, I leave you my version of Big Ben.
And you can see this new series Tuesday nights at 8 here on Channel 267 and also in HD on 268, so pop a note in your planner. Still to come tonight, we've an evening of excellence with Terence Davis, starting with Backstory at 9, and that's after Classical Destinations with Simon Callow next.